Makakausap po natin si Mayor Benjamin Magalong, ang ating COVID-19 contact tracing czar. Maganda umaga po, Mayor.
Good morning po sa inyo at good morning po kay Secretary Martin.
Opo, kasama po natin si Aljo Bendijo, Mayor. Mayor, unahin na po natin ang tanong mula sa ating kasamahan sa media. Mula po kay Cedric Castillo ng GMA7. Ito po ang tanong niya, may significant increase po ba sa COVID cases sa Baguio kaya naghigpit ulit sa borders? Epekto po kaya ito ng muling pagpasok ng mga turista?
Okay, good question po, no? First, gusto ko lang iklaruhin yung naging basis ng OCTA sa kanilang study was data. Ito yung data na mga 2 to 3 weeks ago. Kaya lumabas talaga na high risk, which is true, na talaga naging tumaas yung aming kaso. Pero for the past 2 weeks, talagang nasa downtrend na kami at ito pinakita namin sa Department of Health. Pinakita namin kay Yusek Rosette together with his team, with her team. At nakita nila talaga na meron na talagang downtrend. In fact, if you compare it to our situation in October, we had 2 major outbreaks doon that caused about 500 plus na infection. We were then hitting about 57 or 52 cases a day. Now, we are down to less than 20 a day na kami. In fact, kahapon, nasa 14 cases na lang kami. So, nasa downtrend kami ngayon, ano? Pero yung paghihigpit namin, ang resulta nun, the reason why we're continue to sustain it, is nakita namin na naging effective. Inumpisan namin sa Itugon for a 14-day na strict border control. Nakita namin yung significant na downtrend. So, itinutuloy pa rin namin sa ibang mga karating na munisipyo yung boundary namin sa kanila para talaga masustain namin yung aming intervention na border control coupled with yung contact tracing, coupled with yung namin, yung expanded testing at aggressive testing. Kaya tuloy-tuloy yung pagpapatupad namin ng strict border control for the next 14 days lang naman and after that ililit na namin.
Tanong pa rin po mula kay Cedric Castillo, paano daw po ang mga gulay at ibang kalakal? Saan po pwedeng malusutan o madadaanan nila?
These are exempted. Exempted sila sa inspection. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin. Free movement pa rin ng mga goods. And at the same time, yung mga APOS and health workers, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang galaw nila at they're given safe passage free passage doon sa mga checkpoints natin sa border.
Opo, reaction din sir sa statement daw po ng St. Louis University Hospital of the Sacred Heart na hindi daw po muna sila makakatanggap ng COVID patients.
Well, ito yung situation talaga ng ating mga hospitals dito sa Baguio. We have 5 major hospitals sa Baguio, kaya lang ang problema is ang total isolation beds lang natin is 118. Tulad ng St. Louis University, they have only 20. Yung ibang hospital dito, they only have 8. Meron mga 7. BJ's lang ang meron mataas na number of isolation beds. So ang total niyan is 118. Ang problema was that there was a series of infection, transmission among our health workers. So kung i-confine, saan mo i-confine? If you are the owner or manager of a top management of a hospital, maski na asymptomatic yung patient or by symptoms, siyempre, sarili mong health worker, i-confine mo sa sarili mong hospital. So, kinakain niya yung mga hospital beds that should be allotted to other COVID severe cases. So, ang ginawa namin ngayon to solve that is nagtayo kami ng isang step-down facility. We have an existing treatment facility na isolation facility rin na Santo Niño, a former hospital. Ginawa namin step-down facility yan. So yung mga gumagaling na ng mga health workers natin sa mga hospitals, pwede nang i-transfer doon and still, they can still be covered by PhilHealth. If you look at our total isolation beds sa buong syudad, we have a total of 654. Ang nagagamit pa lang dyan is 39%. Kaya we have enough isolation beds for our positive cases. And besides, bumababa na yung positive cases ho namin. One time, umabot pa ho kami ng almost 700. Now, we are now down to 300 plus na lang.
Opo. Mayor, follow-up lang. Ito po yung bahagi ng paghingi daw po ng time out ng ating medical community dyan sa Baguio sa lahat ng public activities dahil nga po dumadami ang kaso. Ano daw po ang naging desisyon nyo dito?
We cannot blame them because ang perception nila is dumadami yung kaso dahil nga doon sa nakikita nilang situation sa hospital. Pero nung pinakita namin, we engaged them last Sunday afternoon. Nung pinakita namin yung data sa kanila, we were very transparent sa kanila. Pinakita namin kung ano yung ginagawa ng local government, anong ginagawa ng mga health services. Sa kanila na-realize na it's an overreaction. So, nagkaroon kami ng commitment. Nakita nila kung ano yung mga pinapatupad namin. So, we continue to sustain it. Ito yung mga ginagawa namin ngayon na sinusustain namin tulad ng stricter border control. It was a commitment that I made to these doctors. So they decided not to pursue yung kanilang demand na magkaroon ng timeout. Kasi nakita naman nila na sufficient yung ginagawa ng ating government. At nakita rin naman nila yung sincerity natin at yung transparency natin.
Opo. Mayor, meron pong sinasabi dito na kaugnay sa contact tracing na ayon daw po sa World Health Organization ay medyo mahina po daw o di umano ang ating contact tracing efforts. Ano po ang masasabi nyo dito?
Which is true. I cannot, which is true. Based on data, nandun pa rin tayo sa 1:7. Kanina, I was briefing yung ating NTF. If you remember, our benchmark is pag urban, it should be 1:37. And for rural, it should be around 1:30, ang contact tracing efficiency ratio. But if you look at the contact tracing efficiency ratio nationwide, we're still pegged at 1:7. And one of the major factors contributory factors kung bakit nangyayari dyan is dahil kasi walang encoding system na maayos. Yung ibang local government, mano-mano pa rin and arbitrary pa rin nilang pinipill out. Kunyari, hula-hula na lang. Pero pag tatanungin mo sa kanya, ano ba yung line list na close contacts ni Magalong? Wala silang maipakita. Pero pwede nilang ilalagay nila doon. 1:12 yan. Pero wala silang maipakita. So there is no system, there's no proper encoding. Yun ang nakita naming major na contributory factor. So we're now coming up with a uniform data collection tool na compatible sa COVID kaya, compatible din sa CDRS na ginagamit natin so that it will support our analytical tools and immediately it can generate yung mga data analytics na kailangan natin ma-generate.
Opo.
So yun ang direction po natin. Again, ina-emphasize po natin ulit na dapat talagang paigtingin pa lalo ang ating contact tracing, lalo-lalo na sa local government. That's why I'm urging that it should be leadership-driven. Dapat talagang makialam at deeply involved ang ating local government officials, especially the mayors, pagdating sa contact tracing.
Opo, Mayor, kailangan daw po na almost 135,000 na contact tracer sa buong bansa. Posible po kaya ito ma-achieve o gaano po karami na meron tayo sa ngayon?
I believe yung 135 is the most sufficient number to be able to address itong itong contact tracing na requirement. Pero again, it should be aligned with budget. Ilan bang kaya ng budget natin? Now, we were able to generate an amount to support yung 50,000. So let's work with 50,000. I-optimize na lang natin yung utilization ng 50,000. But the big question now is the 50,000 is only as good as December. Ano mangyayari ngayon sa next year? Wala na naman budget. Mabuti na lang nakita yan ng ating mga senator, especially si Senator Recto, na what's going to happen after December? Walang budget. So this is something being worked out now with the Senate para magkaroon ulit ng additional fund to support our contact tracers for the next one in 2021. This will still be a long and enduring battle. Looking at the latest developments of vaccines, I don't think we will be able to immunize everyone dito sa Pilipinas by 2021. We're still looking at about 40% pa siguro ang dapat natin vaccinate in 2022. So those are the things na we should be prepared. It will be a long and enduring battle pa.
Papatupad ng safety protocols sa mga turistang pumapasok sa Baguio City. May mga bago po bang guidelines kayong pinatutupad?
Wala pa rin. We're sticking to the your previous guidelines that all visitors have to pre-register dun sa aming Baguio Visita. those travelers with essential travel, they have to register doon sa hdf.gov.ph. Pagdating dito, iisa lang ang proseso. Pagdating sa checkpoint, they will be checked. Titingnan yung mga QR codes nila. After that, they will be escorted doon sa mga triage namin. We have 3 triage facilities dito. One exclusively for OFW and dalawa for our travelers. Ngayon, pagdating sa triage, they will now be examined. Titingnan uli yung kanilang QR code, titingnan yung kanilang mga dokumento, and at the same time, yung mga travelers na walang RT-PCR 72 hours prior to their arrival, they will be subjected to RT-PCR. They have the choice, RT-PCR or antigen. Kung mag-RT-PCR sila, that's a cost of about 3,500 to 4,000 pesos, but they will be able to get the result in 4 to 6 hours. If they go for the antigen, that's 1,300 pesos. Uniform po yung rate namin dito at yung Region 1 pagdating sa antigen. And they will get the result in 15 minutes. And from that, after that, they can already go around dito sa siyudad ng Baguio. Kung kinuha nila yung antigen, after 5 days, they have to reswab na naman po ng antigen kung mag-extend po sila dito sa Baguio.
Okay. Ano na lang po ang mensahe nyo sa publiko, particular po sa ating mga kababayan sa Baguio City, Mayor?
Okay, sa ating pong kababayan sa siyudad ng Baguio, just would like to assure you po ng COVID-19 situation natin dito is a very, very manageable at a very, very manageable level. Huwag po kayong matakot. We still continue to encourage you to go out except yung bago po nating nilabas po na executive order na medyo iniigpitan po natin yung above 65 po dahil nagkakataon po na nakita po namin sa aming analytics na marami po tayong severe cases na ang mga pasyente po yung mga above 65. Pasensya na po kami. It will only take for 40 days. After that po ulit, papayagan na naman po kayong lumabas para ma-enjoy po nyo yung ating surroundings. But nevertheless, kung may essential travel po kayo outside of your residence, you will be allowed to go out. So please, stay with us, bear with us. Ginagawa po namin lahat ang paraan para po dahil maayos po yung sitwasyon natin dito sa siyudad ng Baguio. You are safe, you will always be, your safety and health is our priority. In the same manner na ganun din po yung ating mga bisita rito. So hintayin lang po natin, we want everything to be in place para pagdating po ng December, mababa na po talaga yung ating kaso at talagang po tuloy-tuloy po natin, maayos po natin ma-celebrate yung Christmas season. Maraming salamat sa inyong kooperasyon.
Mayor, may pahabol lang po si Cedric Castillo ng GMA7. Sa local tourists from other region, di pa rin ba allowed pumasok sa Baguio City?
Pwede na po. Ina-allow na po namin ang region. We are no longer, magmula po noong October, hindi po namin nire-restrict lang sa Region 1 tourists or travelers yung pagpaakyat po ng Baguio. Inopen na po namin sa ibang region. Kaya lang meron po tayong ceiling. Meron po tayong cap. Nilagay ko natin sa 500. As of today, ang nakikita lang po natin na daily arrivals is around 300 plus pa lang dito sa Baguio. There was even a time na nung one particular weekend, umabot po ng 400. Pero ang ganda lang po yung numbers pa lang na nakikita namin sa aming system.
Okay.
So we can encourage more people to come up to the city of Baguio, and we just would like to assure you that you are safe. Mababa na po yung kaso natin sa siyudad ng Baguio, and all the systems are in place to make sure that you are safe and you will be healthy in the city of Baguio.
Okay. Maraming salamat po sa inyong panahon, Mayor Benjamin Magalong ng Baguio City.
Maraming salamat din.